Hello, I'm PJ Bishop. Welcome to my channel and the ongoing series with the Oakland A's. The postseason has just concluded, and the Atlanta Braves are your World Series champions, and that makes them back-to-back champions as they won in 2024 and again in 2025. I think for the second year in a row, they defeated a AL East opponent. Last year it was Baltimore. This year it's the New York Yankees. Let's take a look at how the wild cards unfolded. First, we'll start on the AL side. New York beat the division rival Tampa Bay 2-1 to move on to face Baltimore. And the White Sox, I think, pulled off an upset over Houston to face Detroit in the division series. And then again, New York went the full series, 5 games, beating Baltimore 3-2, moving on to the ALCS. And Detroit, one of those feel-good stories because they haven't made the playoffs in forever in real life. Although they did make it finally this year. They ended up beating the White Sox, so the White Sox Cinderella story is over, 3-1 to Detroit. And then New York, looks like they pretty much easily handled Detroit 4-2 to move on to the World Series. And on the NL side, Philadelphia sweeps the Cardinals 2-0 to move on to face the Braves, and the Diamondbacks beat the Pirates 2-1 to face the Dodgers. So 2 big powerhouse clubs in the NL. Atlanta easily dispatches Philadelphia 3-1, and the Dodgers did the same thing to Arizona, beating them 3-1. And then you got the 2 heavyweights for the NLCS as Atlanta beats the Dodgers 4-2 to move on to the World Series, where they easily handle the Yankees in a 5-game series, 5 games, 4-1. Let's take a closer look at the games themselves. Here is Game 1. In Game 1, Atlanta takes a close contest, 3-2. It looks like that 5th inning was the difference maker, although it looked like it could have been a lot worse. If you look at the hits, New York was only able to manage 2 hits and end up getting 2 runs, while Atlanta had 12 hits but only managed 3 runs. Looks like Aaron Judge hit a home run in the opening round. So your performance of the day, Max Fried went 7 innings, allowed just 2 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 4, and struck out 6 to earn the win versus the New York Yankees. And of course, Ozzie Alvis for Atlanta, good old reliable Ozzie, 1 for 1, RBI, a run, 2 walks. How good is Max Fried still? Oh, he's really good, 75 out of 75. How good's Ozzie? Still above average. And of course, Aaron Judge, 1 for 3, a home run, 2 RBIs. So for them, everything happened on that 1 hit, a run and a walk, and the 3-2 loss. And once he looked like, oh, he's still perfect. Look at that. He's old, but he's perfect. Look at that power potential. Power, he's just really good. I wish we had an Aaron Judge. Game 2, I believe that goes Atlanta's way. So Atlanta jumps off to a 2-0 series lead. Once again, they end up hitting in the double digits. But this time it was much more of a rout. If it wasn't for a good, strong 6th inning by the Yankees, it would have been looks like a blowout. But Atlanta, once again, 15 hits to New York Yankees, just 4. So it's become fairly obvious that the Yankees are outmatched when it comes to the lineup. They just don't have the firepower to keep up with the Atlanta Braves. Matt Olson going 3 for 5. He got a double, a home run, 3 RBI, and 2 runs. Of course, he's a solid veteran. And then Austin Riley, 2 for 5. He got a home run, 2 RBI, and a run. I mean, those guys, these 2 guys combined for more hits than the entire Yankees lineup. So that just tells you how much the Yankees are struggling as far as producing anything offensively. What's Austin Riley? Still a very dangerous player. Joey Gallo, good old Joey Gallo, 1 for 4, a home run, 4 RBI. So he hit a grand slam. More than likely he hit a grand slam. So Joey Gallo with a grand slam, probably in the 6th inning to make the game look closer than it really was. Let's see. Again, he's a power. This is why I try to get power guys. I want to get guys that can just hit home runs. Although his average is atrocious. He's got a 208 average. He's a slugger as a slugger they get. Yeah, 46 home runs, but barely hit 200. But that's got value. That's got value. And he's a pretty good defender at left field or first base, depending where you put him. Just interesting to see. It's not expensive either. It's $5.1 million a year. Could have had you Joey Gallo. Let's move on to Game 3. Game 3, Atlanta once again victorious, 2-0. That first inning was all it took. A solid first inning by Atlanta, and they never looked back for the rest of the game as they ended up winning 2-0. So a game where Atlanta's bats were a little cold this time around. Hernan Wallstrap, the performer of the day. I actually own him in fantasy. I have him on my prospect list. I don't know if I might have traded him. Did I trade him? I might have. No, I think I still own him. Although he's looking more and more like a reliever risk because he can't control the walks. I tell you all the time, you got to control those walks if you don't want to be a reliever. But 6.1 innings, allowed just 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. What's he looking? Oh, he's looking really good. The game thinks he's going to be good. I hope he ends up being like this. Hey, I can live with below average control if this is how he turns out in real life. He's still young though, 23 years old. And then from New York, Mason Barnett, 7 innings played, allowed 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and that's all it took was those 2 earned runs. Walked just 1 and struck out 8. He's another young player. Who the hell is Mason Barnett? Trade from Kansas City. I want to see more about Mr. Mason. It's a 3rd round pick by Kansas City. Why would Kansas City trade? What did they get for him? For Gleyber Torres? Nice job, Yankees. Yeah, I would definitely say that's a nice trade by the New York Yankees. Gleyber, there's potential to be 70 over an average, slightly above average second baseman. Yankees with I don't want to say it because I don't want to get banned from YouTube, but Yankees with the grape. And then performer number 3, of course, is Ronald Acuna Jr. 1 for 4, got a home run, an RBI, and a run. So he was the difference maker in the game. No, because I think someone else got an RBI because he only has 1 RBI. Ronald Acuna. Look at that perfect overall. Was he the series MVP? No, I wish they wouldn't do the NL. I don't want to see the NL series MVP. I don't care who won that one. Show me just the World Series MVPs. I hope to one day have a guy like him on my roster. So Atlanta out to a commanding 3-0 lead. Then we head into Game 4. The Yankees were like, we're not going to go away without a fight. We're going to win 4 straight and win the World Series. They ended up beating the Atlanta Braves 8-6 to keep hopes alive of perhaps winning a World Series. Anthony Volpe, the young shortstop, 3 for 4, a double, a home run, RBI, and 3 runs. So the Yankees swept the top performers of the day. Look at Volpe, 24 years old, perfect rating overall. I wish I had guys like that. So they get to keep him at second base, and they move on Gleyber Torres for a absolute stud of a pitcher. So glad to see guys like Gleyber Torres can bring back stud pitchers. Performer number 2 of the day is Harrison Bader of the New York Yankees, 2 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs, and a run. He's a solid defender. That's what they got him here. Offensively, nothing great about him, but he's a really good defender. Can't complain about his defense at a pretty good position center field. And then Bo Bichette, a New York Yankee, 2 for 4, home run, RBI, 2 runs. And there's your shortstop. So you move Volpe to second, Bo Bichette to short. Although, he's good enough, sort of, defensively. Will Volpe be a better shortstop? His arm strength is a little low. It's probably his arm strength that keeps him low. But it's still a hell of a trade to get rid of Gleyber Torres for one of the best pitchers. So Yankees did well there. Even though they lost the World Series, they still did well. And then the deciding Game 5, Atlanta Braves with a close one here. A 2-1 victory in New York ends the season and crowns Atlanta Braves as the World Series champions. And of course, Max Fried gets to pitched 2 deciding games. This one, 7.1 innings, allowed 5 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and the W. As you can see here, Atlanta back-to-back MLB champions. He hasn't been an all-star in quite some time, even though he finished with a great ERA, 2.79, but still not good enough for an all-star. Interesting. I guess the standards are pretty high. Carlos Rendon, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. So he gave up all the hits, actually, if you look at it. So 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Atlanta only had 4 hits. He gave them all up. So blame Carlos for losing this one. Still solid veteran. And there's Anthony Volpe again. 3 for 4, 2, a double, a run. Just wasn't enough. And there you have it. Atlanta Braves, World Series champions. So that's it for this video. We're moving on to the off season, where we got a lot to do to get ourselves competitive. And maybe we can be like the White Sox and find ourselves in the playoffs next year.